Happy after Purim. Actually, Shushan Purim. We're still connected to Purim now because it's Shushan Purim. We'll throw in 3 short points about Purim, which are relevant to always and powerful. Starting with the description of Mordechai the Jew in the Megillah. It says in the Megillah that we all heard yesterday, hopefully live, but some through other digital transmissions because of their quarantine. But anyway, the Megillah describes Mordechai, says, Ish Yehudi. There was a Jewish man. Ish Yehudi, Asher b'Shushan Habira, who was in Shushan, the capital. Ushmo Mordechai. And his name was Mordechai. Then it goes on to describe his lineage. But the beginning, first words are Ish Yehudi Haya b'Shushan Habira. Ish Yehudi Haya b'Shushan Habira. Jewish man was in Shushan, the capital. So the Rebbe says, he quotes another person who mentioned something about this, that there are different levels of people's comfort zones in demonstrating their Jewishness. And the Megillah is instructing us and inspiring us to be like Mordechai. The Rebbe says some people feel comfortable looking and acting Jewish in their home. They may wear a kippah, tzitzit, strings flying in their home. And some people in the shul, in the synagogue, and some people in the yeshiva. And some people, when some rabbi comes to their home, or a rebbitzin, then they put on their yarmulke, they demonstrate their Jewish artifacts in their home. Look, we're Jewish, and they're proud of their Jewishness. But oftentimes, by some people, it stays in their home. But when they go out on the street, sometimes they're a little shy, not too proud to demonstrate their Jewishness. And this is what the Rebbe says, the Megillah is describing Mordechai the Jew. The first words about him was Ish Yehudi Haya b'Shushan Habira. He was a Jewish man in Shushan, the capital. And the Rebbe explains that this means that he was evidently Jewish, not just in his home, but also out on the street and in the capital country. And the Rebbe says, look, the Megillah describes the situation at the time where the king Achashverosh was the king of the whole world. He ruled 127 countries, which was the population at the time. And he wasn't a great friend of the Jews. And then he goes on and he says the advisors of the king Achashverosh, Memuchan, who was Haman, was not a great Jew lover, as we all know. And he even had the power to overthrow the queen, as evidenced by what happened in the Megillah story. So, that's the environment in which Ish Yehudi Haya b'Shushan Habira, it was clear, here walks a Jew. The Rebbe says literally his tzitzis were flying in the wind. He demonstrated his Jewishness wherever he went, even in the places where some might not deem it comfortable. And that's a lesson about that. Lesson number 2. The Rebbe talks about where Haman wanted to kill. It says it in the Megillah, he wanted to kill the Jews. It's called HaYehudim. And also talks about, this is why. He wanted to kill, it's one of my former students in our Hebrew school. So, the Rebbe said, Haman wanted to kill the Jews. Why? He says he wanted to kill Mordechai first. He got angry at Mordechai for not bowing. And why? Because they said that he's Jewish. Then he says, you know what, I'm going to get all the Jews. So the tradition tells him, the Rebbe emphasizes this. He says that Haman was only out to kill those who would openly demonstrate and say that they're Jewish. And in order to save your life, all you had to do was say, temporarily, say, I'm not Jewish. You have to disconnect yourself only verbally. Only your ID, give in your ID. Give in your Jewish ID and say, I'm not part of this nation. And that would have saved you. And the Rebbe says, our tradition tells us, not one Jew did that. Not one Jew was willing to sacrifice his identity just verbally to save his life. That's a powerful message over there. That's why the decree technically fell on all the Jews, every single one, as it says in the Megillah, not just some, all of them. Because not one Jew was willing to sacrifice and say, I'm not Jewish, even temporarily. And that leads us to the third point, which is why. Why is it that nobody, not even one Jew, was willing to sacrifice his identity and say that he's not Jewish or she? And that goes to the mitzvah of Purim. It says in the Code of Jewish Law is to rejoice in a manner that's ad de lo yada, until you know. What is ad de lo yada? Until you don't know the difference between blessed as Mordechai and cursed as Haman. Basically, completely leave your boundaries of sanity in the joy of Purim. And why so? I turn around here because I'm running late for class, but we're going to go up the big hill over here in Central Park. So, ad de lo yada. Why is it so? Because what happened, the whole story of Purim was with the lottery. The word Purim means lot, lottery. That Haman drew lots to find the proper date that will be not good for the Jewish people. And it fell out in Purim. And the 13th of Adar, we celebrate the 14th of Adar. And what that represents is that there's a relationship and things that people do that are logical. And then there's things that are way beyond logic. Way beyond logic. Stronger, more powerful, infinitely greater than logic. And in the story of Purim, Haman tried to find somewhere within God this non-logical moment where he would attack the Jews and kill them and annihilate the Jewish people, even though logically they didn't deserve death. So that's the concept of lottery. So our celebration is also this randomness that Haman tried to reach. We try to reach that in our celebration and joy on Purim. It's a randomness that is above logic. And what is that? Also, in simple terms, the Rebbe explains that the relationship that a parent has with a child, or a child loves a parent loves a child, there could be many logical reasons why parents and children have this incredible bond. But if you take off all the logical reasons, the bond still remains. Interestingly, you can say, oh, my parent takes care of me. What if they don't? So there's an internal, intrinsic love and connection and bond that surpasses logic between parents and children. And the Rebbe says, how much more so? And in parents and children, we are separate entities, or separate beings. A child leaves the womb of the mother and leaves the home of the parents. Hello, happy Purim. And leaves the home of the parents and goes on and lives a separate life. But nevertheless, the bond remains strong. And the Rebbe says, how much more so in our relationship with God and our bond with God, where the Torah says, Banim atem l'Hashem Elokeichem. You are children to God, your God. And not only that, but Israel. We are considered God's firstborn, and there are no others in this. Everybody, the whole world has a relationship with God, but only the Jewish people in the Torah are called children. And because of that, says the Rebbe, our relationship with God is beyond logic. And that is demonstrated on Purim when we celebrate with limitless joy. And interestingly, someone yesterday asked, Edifar Bringen, said, why on Simchas Torah, isn't that like the greatest joy? What's the difference between Purim and Purim? They say Purim is the happiest day of the year, but on Simchas Torah we also dance. And Alter Rebbe explains that one of the differences between Purim and Simchas Torah is that on Simchas Torah we dance like crazy, but we dance with the Torah. We're holding the Torah and we're dancing. So we're connecting our bond with God through the Torah, which is obviously our connection. But on Purim, we're not holding the Torah. We say a little l'chaim to help us loosen our external distractions. But that's what it is. We connect with God directly and not even holding the Torah. So the bond between the Jewish people and God is much stronger. It's demonstrated even stronger on Purim than any other day of the year. And even Yom Kippur, the holiest day of the year, is called Yom HaKippurim. It's Kippurim. Ki means in Hebrew like. It's like Purim. So Purim, from angle, is the holiest, most joyous day of the year. And Yom Kippur is like Purim. Yom Kippurim, it's like Purim. And our relationship with God is celebrated and demonstrated in the most random ways. Random over here means beyond logic. And in today's day and age, where the distractions of the world are many and great, so many distractions. And you know what? Sometimes it's easier to kick all the Jewish habits and go the other way. And it may even be logical in some places, and sometimes to say, you know what, I'll have more friends, I'll have more business, everything will be better if I don't live my Jewish lifestyle, if I don't observe, if I don't look Jewish on the outside, if I walk around and I just hide my kippah or put my tzitzit away for the moment. But here's where our opportunity, Purim teaches us, is to connect with God in a random way, above logic. And that's our connection, because our connection is internal and essential, and it's deeper than we can understand and fathom and imagine. That's the story for Purim for today. Hopefully more to come soon. Back to the sichos. God bless you. And let's stay drunk all year long.